Hello. Today's presentation is brought to you by Team 2, which consists of Jerry Lindberg, Linda Dong, Mary Phelps-Guillory, Sarah Smith, Shannon Hefner, and Thomas Sanfilippo. Our team chose to analyze the nonprofit organization Reading is Fundamental. What is Reading is Fundamental? It is the largest nonprofit literacy organization in the United States. It was founded in 1966 by Margaret McNamara. She was a former teacher who gave used books to 4 boys she tutored in Washington, D.C. She was surprised they were so excited to receive the gift and discovered they never owned a book before and neither had many of their classmates. That summer, she gathered a group of volunteers and launched a book distribution and reading motivation program. From November 1966 through the early 1970s, RIF expanded from a pilot project at 3 elementary schools in Washington, D.C., to a program reaching children in 60 of the city's public schools. Today, RIF programs operate in all 50 states, the District of Columbia, Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and Guam. It's also affiliated with programs in Argentina and the United Kingdom.
As part of our organizational analysis, we conducted a literature review on mission statements. In general, a mission statement should be unique to an organization's strengths and business domain, developed collaboratively after input from the various stakeholders, a living document useful in a wide range of everyday business, and a challenge and goal that employees can aspire to and that will attract qualified potential employees who wish to share that goal. Studies agree that the benefits are mainly found in the development and implementation process, including a wide range of members of the organization will need a mission statement that accurately reflects its current state, while taking the time to develop a mission statement will demonstrate your commitment to change.
Their current mission statement is, "We envision a literate America in which all children have access to books and the opportunity to achieve their full potential through the life-changing power of reading." Their current vision statement is, "RIF transforms lives through the power of books. By providing children in need with access to and choice of high-quality books and enriching literacy resources, we empower young minds to embrace the world of reading and learning."
RIF is governed by a board of 16 diverse members. A few of those members include Navion, a major student loan provider, whose president and CEO chair the board. Other members include Deutsche Bank, Fidelity Investment, and State Farm. RIF has a 23-member staff. Among the leadership are CEO and President Carol Rasko, Vice President of Programs Cheryl Clark, and Vice President of Literacy Services Julie Rodriguez. Both the staff and board members share a commitment to literacy. RIF's programs are aimed at combating illiteracy among children and adults. 2 of these programs are Books for Ownership and Read for Success. The Books for Ownership program provides books to underserved children. Books are distributed in schools, migrant camps, homeless shelters, and many other places. Read for Success focuses on the lower grade levels. This program allows children to choose their own books, which serves as a motivating factor for them. The idea behind this program is to keep children reading through the summer, thereby fostering reading proficiency and achievement.
So first, we'll briefly talk about funding. Oddly, fundraising events bring in the least amount of money for the organization. Now, this might be an indication that RIF should improve on its advertising and community advocacy techniques. Government grants tend to bring in the most money, although donations and corporate partners are a close second. As far as partners go, RIF's corporate sponsors are pretty diverse. They include, for instance, Macy's, McDonald's, Barnes & Noble, and even the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Now, what the partners do for RIF also ranges in scope. Now, for example, Macy's was able to raise about $2.6 million through coupon sales alone that paid for around 900,000 new books for children. McDonald's also gave out about 20 million books in their Happy Meals. And also Barnes & Noble had this pretty neat program in which they gave college students the option to donate to RIF when they sold their textbooks back at the end of the semester. So not only are these partners a great opportunity for RIF as far as funding is concerned, they also work well for RIF in regards to outreach.
Reading is Fundamental first received funding from the government in 1975 during the creation of the Inexpensive Book Distribution Program. The U.S. Department of Education and RAF agreed on several terms for this program, including where to place the money and which communities to serve first. In 2011, $26 million in government funding was cut for RAF and other literacy programs. Since then, RAF has received yearly funding from the U.S. Department of Education's Innovative Approaches to Literacy grant. 47% of RAF's funding comes from government grants, and donations and grants from private parties and individuals make up the other half. While fundraising only contributes to 5% of RAF's revenue, RAF did lose over $78,000 in 2013 on fundraising events. RAF has been creating free bilingual apps that encourage literacy and reading with preschoolers and elementary school students. They currently have 2 apps created in 2013, Our Book and Wonder Waters apps, which gives students the opportunity to read, draw, solve science problems, and listen to stories. RAF has partnered with the app designer Time for the Billion eBook Gift Program. Throughout 2016, families are able to download a free set of 50 children's ebooks, including fairy tales, classics, and books about ABCs and numbers. RAF is also supplementing physical books with ebooks or online activities through its popular Read for Success program. This program runs through the summer when children often fall behind on reading skills and includes physical books for students to take home, as well as online activities and ebooks for classroom use.
Reading is Fundamental has a great mission and an amazing ability to reach out to underserved kids. One of our strengths has been that over the past 50 years, we've been able to adapt and remain current with new trends in education and technology. We've also been successful in receiving grant funding for many of our programs. Our outreach has helped us to build partnerships with private organizations, libraries, schools, and individuals to help us complete our mission. Unfortunately, one of our strengths has also been one of our weaknesses. Though we've been successful at securing grant funding for many of our programs, the level of that funding has been inconsistent over the years. The funding brought in by our fundraising events has also been inconsistent, and in some years we've even lost money. Heavy reliance on government grants makes us subject to political whims and changes in education spending. We should create a more steady source of funding by increasing involvement from community members, increasing our presence in the media, and we should adopt a goal of reducing reliance on government funding to less than 50% of total funding in each year. There are several opportunities on the horizon. Decreasing costs of smartphones, tablets, and netbooks means increased access to technology, and we should gradually shift our focus away from print books towards ebooks and apps that will appeal to children. It would be great to have a Reading is Fundamental app, but we should also continue to look for opportunities to place literacy programs within inner city schools and expand our services in rural areas that consistently see low spending per student. We should increase our name recognition by networking with our competitors on outreach and work with organizations that have similar missions to increase our community presence, gain allies towards achieving our goals, and increase volunteerism. The main threats to achieving our mission are changes in the political climate and a trend towards decreased education funding. With almost half our funding coming from the public sector, major political changes represent an existential threat, and even minor adjustments, such as those that have occurred in recent years, have the potential to undermine our major goals. There's many similar organizations that compete with us for grants as well as for private funding, so we must continue our outreach and demonstrate our success. Lower book distribution numbers or a lack of presence in the community could lead to being turned down for a grant or losing a corporate partner to a competitor.
The new mission statement recomposed includes the recommendations we have for Reading is Fundamental to take their organization to the next level and provide more relevant and meaningful services to their target audience. The new mission statement is, Reading is Fundamental, RIF, exists to provide quality books to children in low-income areas throughout the nation, especially rural states. It is our aim to inspire children to love reading with reading initiatives that promote summer reading and overall achievement. RIF will connect with community members, teachers, parents, and children through literacy-centered programs, as well as media and marketing opportunities. We will also partner with community organizations, businesses, and volunteers to look for new opportunities to increase literacy in our country. We will always remain transparent with our finances and efficient in our approach to our mission. We will seek opportunities for collaboration rather than competition by networking with other literacy nonprofits to achieve our shared goal. We will remain relevant by utilizing new technologies and distributing free ebooks. The new vision statement is our vision is a country in which every child is literate, which we will achieve by placing quality books in the hands of every child. And our values statement is, we value charity, creativity, education, compassion, and the hard work it takes to fulfill our mission.
The first strategic goal for RIF is to inform local teachers, caregivers, and schools about literacy rates and programs. For the first objective, RIF will strive for a more nationwide media presence and take on a spokesperson role for RIF programs. Focus groups will be composed of local teachers and volunteers, as well as yearly statistics. The second objective, RIF will create a graphic design team to distribute and create flyers and posters about their programs, and these flyers and posters will be passed out to libraries, schools, and other community areas.
To support our renewed mission, we must create a steady source of funding from grants, fundraisers, and corporate partners. To that end, we'll ensure an ongoing source of funding for the programs we currently offer. The Treasurer, Board of Directors, and Senior Leadership Team will meet quarterly to evaluate our progress towards a goal of 51% funding from corporate partnerships. If 2 fiscal years pass without reaching that goal, an outside fundraising consultant should be hired. We must also hold only profitable fundraising events. It's been a weakness in our fundraising efforts over the years that our fundraising events sometimes lose money. We should aim to double the share of the revenue returned from fundraising events to 10% of our total funds. To this end, we should phase out unprofitable events and replace them with less expensive events with less frequency if necessary. We need to research best practices in fundraising and look for new, innovative ideas that have been successful for other organizations. The Treasurer will maintain a strict accounting of fundraising expenditures and report to the Board of Directors and Senior Leadership Team quarterly. If 2 fiscal years pass, in which the share of the organization's revenue brought in by the fundraising events remains below 10%, an outside fundraising consultant should be hired. We need to network with our competitors on joint projects. There are many other literacy organizations that share a mission similar to ours. We often compete with these organizations for grant funding and private donors, but we rarely partner with them and combine our efforts to help us achieve our similar goals. The President should reach out to other literacy organizations and report to the Senior Leadership Team about which organizations are amenable to working together on joint projects. We should forge at least one new partnership each year, and if this goal is not met, we should look to recruit staff from other nonprofits who can cast a wider net and bring with them best practices and ideally some existing partnerships. We should also partner with other organizations on outreach. We should lead a literacy alliance of nonprofits with a shared mission and put the issue of literacy front and center in the national dialogue. To that end, the President will reach out to other literacy organizations and report to the senior leadership teams about which organizations would like to work together on outreach. We should establish at least a collaborative project every year. And if not, we should look to recruit outreach specialists with experience in public campaigns targeting other social issues.
Fourth goal is to expand operations in rural and low-income communities and schools. So the first objective here is to expand literacy advocacy operations in the communities. So in order to do this, RIF will have to recruit more people to volunteer and advocate within these communities. They'll focus mostly on outreach and events to raise awareness, involving members of the community and spreading the word about the organization's programs. And the second objective is to increase literacy programs in rural and low-income schools. The RIF will meet with school administrators in these areas to figure out the needs of the school and which programs are available to meet the needs. Once the programs are in place at affordable rates per student, RIF staff and volunteers will be on hand to help explain programs to teachers and offer assistance if needed. In order to make the programs affordable, a good portion of RIF's funds will have to be allotted to placing programs in these underserved areas. The fifth goal is to increase yearly book distribution numbers. The first objective here is to increase the number of books that are distributed through programs. The organization must increase its advertising in order to draw donations from community members as well as corporate sponsors. RIF will also work with schools in order to host book drives within the school system. So this will encourage participation from both students and parents. So the second objective under this goal is to increase the numbers of books that are distributed at community events. RIF will host community events and book drives that will increase the number of books available for distribution.
The last strategic goal is to use new technology in programs and outreach. In the first objective, RIF will continue the free ebook program throughout 2017. It will also partner with local libraries and schools to obtain affordable ebook materials. Focus group surveys and statistics will be used to determine new technology needs. In the second objective, RIF will continue to create a new multilingual app every 2 years. Polls and surveys about the popularity, usefulness, and ease of access regarding new apps will be distributed to RFI partners and communities. The nonprofit will also look at technology trends yearly to determine the future of technology and RIF programs.
In conclusion, Reading is Fundamental has distributed millions of books over the past 50 years. Our success can be attributed in large part to the numerous corporate sponsors who invest in our mission and our sustainability to secure public funding as well for our major programs. We've recently branched out from providing solely physical books to children to increasing access to ebooks and developing applications. While our organization is able to give out millions of books, the number of books we distribute annually has diminished in recent years. Instead of relying so heavily on public funding, which has been fickle at times, we need to develop a strategy to improve our fundraising efforts, our presence in the community, and in the media, both traditional and social media. We should work towards over 50% private funding each year, because a strategy of this type can secure our relevance for many years to come.